65 SSA Midsummer Classic out here at Bulger Park in Melrose Park, Illinois. We got a game between Whale and March. And Whale just beat the defending champs in this tournament, Flashback, 6-5 in a low-scoring game. So Whale on a little bit of a roll, playing very well, and so has March. So this should be an interesting ball game as we tee it up. For those of you new to the stream, this is Chicago 16-inch style softball. You're seeing it correct, no mitts, and it's a 16-inch clincher. It is not a mush ball. It comes out of the box firm, and it will maintain its consistency. 60-foot bases. You can lead off, but you can't steal. It's 38 feet from the rubber to the point of home plate. Because we're playing no glove, the pitcher gets a drag step, one step left, right, or back. 2 fakes or hesitation. Third arm action must be to deliver the ball home. Throw to a fake is one of your fakes or hesitations. And open count and 6-12 on the arc. We swing heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, 34 inches long, and 2 1/4 on the barrel. So leading off, Michael Crawford, then Jackson Perry, and Bo Filkins. So here's Michael Crawford. Had the pleasure of managing his father, Pat Crawford, when I was with Flashback. So he's a legacy kid. And Mike's been pretty good since he's kind of come back to playing 16-inch. And of course the Crawfords, Johnny Crawford, and leaving one out. Ground ball to third, long throw across in time. So little bobble by Johnny McIlvain, but he recovers, throws it across, and that's how the game's going to start.
You're good. Come on, Ace.
So Hex and Menace on the other diamond. And I believe Hex is the home team. So we'll be giving you updates. Wind blowing out. You can see the flag. Feels like it's blowing toward right center. And here's Jackson Perry. Jackson's got a lot of power to all fields. And this is a team that Jackson put together with Chris Rieger. And the only thing you worry about, and there's a sky-high fly ball. Wind's going to blow it around, but right on the spot is the center fielder, Zach Solario. And that'll be out number 2, excuse me. So the big news is, of course, Whale shocking Flashback. They were up 6-0 in that game. Flashback started coming back, and the Whale infield did have a couple of errors and opened the door, but they hung on 6-5. So here's Bo Filkins. And Bo is the nephew of Keith Filkins. Of course, Keith, one of the greatest players to ever lace him up.
You're good.
And Bo was played with the 45s for a few years, temporarily moved to Wisconsin, and now that he's come back, he's come here and sinking liner,
Right here.
and the left fielder got a great break on it, but he couldn't make the play. So that ball drops in,
He's back.
and I want to say that's Tommy Lentine Jr. out there. And that's going to bring up Frank the Bambino Simon. Of course, Frank was a long-time Player Inc. guy.
Way off you.
Found a home here with Whale. These guys are all great friends. And despite the real warm weather we had all day today, it's cooled off nicely. A little ground ball to McIlvain, long throw across in time, and that'll be it. So Whale gets a 2-out hit. They can't do anything with it. We'll head to the bottom of the first. No score. And one of our fans, a Chicagoan who is a transplant down to New Orleans, Macy, came up to me today. He said earlier this week on a broadcast he was going to be in Chicago. And he made a point of coming by and saying hello. And we love it when you guys do that.
Yeah, I got it.
Of course, he's a big fan.
Just want to get on camera.
So it's going to be Brian Evans, Tommy Lentine Jr., and Jordan Dean. So we talk all the time. March, a very solid ball club. They got a lot of nice pieces, and they're sneaky good. And Tommy Lentine's done a good job of picking up pieces along the way. And they got some good young players. So bottom of the first on the other diamond, no score, Hex and Menace. And we got a light schedule today. There will only be one more game at 9:30. And this will be our only broadcast of the night. But we're going to try to soldier on tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the mid to upper 90s. So we'll see how it goes. And Chris Rieger, see if we got that on the replay. He played a little volleyball with himself. And he made the nice play there. Just kind of popped it in the air to himself. And that might have been a hair too quick on my replay. Let's see if we sneak this in or not. And there it is. So nice play by Rieger. And here's Tommy Lentine Jr. Of course, Chris started out with that Chicago Dynasty team. Played on the team that won the No Glove. Was an outfielder. Then he played a lot of first base, and now he's transitioned to the hill. And there's a little soft fly ball right on the spot. Center fielder makes the catch. So Jake Lenty right on the spot. So 2 up, 2 down. And it brings up Jordan Dean.
Let's go, Jordan. Let's go.
Jordan had some leg issues. It's good to see him back on the field. And Jordan, a pretty slick short center. And there's a ground ball, and Rieger knocks it down, but he isn't going to be able to make the play. And you could hear a lot of the Whale guys saying no. Chris sometimes will try to make an off balance or a backhand type throw. And this is a good park, no fences in the outfield. They do have fences down the line, but they don't extend. They don't extend all the way down. So a lot of times when guys go opposite field down the line, that ball will spin out of play for a ground rule double, whereas if the fence was a little longer, the hitter might be able to get a few more bases. And there's a towering fly ball by Nick Byrne. Lenty tippy-toeing after it with all this wind. So both teams had a base runner. Neither could do anything with it. And we're going to head to the second inning. No score here. So with this breeze blowing out to right field, you know, sometimes guys will brain lock, and it seems to be kind of shifting from right center to straight out to toward the right field line. So I think it might be a little hard to overpower a left fielder over the top, because that ball's going to get knocked down. It's also going to get pushed toward the left center field gap. So if you're a center fielder, you got to help your left fielder out, and you got to make sure you get into that gap. And same thing with the right fielder. Anything hit to right center, you can't become a spectator. You got to help your center fielder out. So Chris Rieger, Jake McLaughlin, and Al, looks like Person. And there's a line drive, and shortstop can't handle it. It's in no man's land, but he'll come back. So it looked like the shortstop was going to make the play there, but ball ended up getting past him. And that'll be a hit. So Jack Harrigan, very sure-handed guy over there normally, just got overpowered as Rieger hit a low screamer at him. And here comes Jack McLaughlin. And there's Tommy Angston, head coach at Taft for the men's 16-inch. high school softball, CPS style, Chicago Public Schools.
Hey, you all right, Justin?
So again, open count tonight. As a hitter, I always kind of chuckle a little bit when they get upset at strike one. And there's a Detzmer can't make the catch. It's down. Rieger's going to hustle into third. So Detzmer, I think that ball was hit toward the alley, and I think that cross breeze was knocking it down. And Detzmer just kept running and running and running and just couldn't get there. So easy stand-up double for McLaughlin. There's a high pop-up. Harrigan makes the catch. And I'm not sure if he was in fair or foul territory. So Person, I hope that's Person, pops up. Now, some of you might be wondering, you know, is there an infield fly rule? But Jack was on a dead sprint, and I'm not sure he was in fair territory. And again, there's no infield fly rule on a foul ball.
Ready, Brad. Ready, Brad. Watch your right hand.
So here's Jake Lenti. And Jake tries to go down the line, but that's going to get pushed foul. Just let the ball drop a hair too low. Later on, if you guys go back and look at the replay, you'll notice the point of the bat was really facing the ground. And when that happens, you get that crazy spin. And with this wind, that ball had no chance to be fair. And Jake flips it, and Detzmer makes the catch, comes up throwing, but the first run will score. So Detzmer, and you could see that ball wanted to hit the carpet. It was dying on him, and he made the catch and was able to keep his hands up to prevent anything from dropping on him. Nice play by Detzmer. And here's Marcus Turner. And I like this kid. He's been on the Whale squad for, I think, about 2 years. And he usually puts a pretty good swing on it. They got him listed as the EH. And there he hits it hard up the middle. And Jordan Dean can't make the play. Another run scores. Let me update my scoreboard here. As Whale has grabbed a 2-0 lead here. 2 outs runner at first now. Brings up Gabe Irizarry.
Hey, between Jack and Jordan. Go.
And Gabe, a little ground ball, wicked hop.
There you go.
That ball bit Jordan. He was in good position, but he got a wicked hop there, and the ball just jumped up and ate him up. Again, sometimes you do everything right and you just don't catch a break. So you can see that ball wicked hot.
Go.
And that brings up Barzowski, and he'll fly out to center. So at the end of an inning and a half, we'll head to the bottom of the second. Wales jumped up 2-0. So a little tricky fly ball there that Detzmer made a good effort on but couldn't come up with, started it. And then a wicked hop single drove in another run. So Whale getting a couple of early breaks, but when you hit the ball hard, that's what happens. So it's going to be Zach Solario, Johnny McIlvain, and Jack Harrigan. Of course, very early in this game, and you would think with the wind pushing out that there should be a little more offense. That flashback Whale game started. It was bright sunshine, and it was a little calmer day. This is the time of the day when a lot of guys, after being in the heat and it's really cooled down, they tend to get a second wind. And I remember when I was with the Bucketheads, that summer was brutal. Every weekend the temperature was above 90 for the tournaments. I was getting a little long in the tooth at that time. And Tauncey Sarasevich and Sal Milazzo were running that team. And man, I had no jump when the sun was out in the daylight. But we'd get to 7 o'clock and the sun would be going down, and all of a sudden I felt pretty good. So here's Zach, and he crushes it to center, but Lenti gets there and makes the catch. So good read there by Lenti. He ended up going down a little bit on a knee, but he made the catch. So leadoff man down for Johnny McElvain. And Johnny, a little sweep swing, he gets it past Filkins, and Johnny will take the turn. So Johnny stayed down, sat through the swing, and what I mean by that is a lot of guys, when they reach a little bit, they'll stand up on contact and they end up hitting lazy fly balls, but he stayed low through contact and just hit a line drive up the middle. And there's a pickoff attempt, not in time. And a lot of first basemen will try to do that. They'll try to stand in between the base runner and the bag. As long as they're giving them somewhere to go, it's okay. But a lot of guys try to stand up when they go back, and that's problematic. And Harrigan, high fly ball, that's going to die up there. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Brings up Ben Detzmer.
Another one here, Chris.
That's another guy, if I'm not mistaken. He started out on, I believe he was playing a little bit with Circus at one point. Don't quote me on that.
I'll tell you right now to go like a picture.
And that pitch a little outside. And Ben, a little slow roller to Rieger, a little bobble, he guns it over. And he hung right in there. Of course, Chris, former outfielder, strong arm. Nice job by the first baseman. Sometimes when your pitcher winds up like that, you know, you get a little nervous. I do not know. Yeah, I could certainly ask Jackson Perry how they came up with the name. They
I don't pick it during warm-ups.
got interesting logo. It's a spin-off of the Hartford Whalers. But I'm not quite sure how they settled on the name. Ask both teams. Okay, ask the other team if they want to do it. Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other game, looks like it's 4-0 down there, and I believe Hex is winning. So here's Brian Crawford, top of the lineup here in the third inning. My bad, I'll change the scoreboard for you guys. Crawford, high fly ball, camped under it as Lentini makes the play. Patty Caputo was asking me, we generally don't like to move games once they're scheduled, but due to weather or the tournament's behind and we got an open field, we'll do that. So he wanted to know if he could move the 9:30 game to this timing because there's no game scheduled. So if both teams agree to it, we're more than happy to do it. And part of the reason is our command center is down here. So here's Jackson Perry now. Bo Filkins on deck. We are in the top of the third, Lee.
Great guy.
The Hex game is in the bottom of the second. Looks like it's 5-0 now. They lead Menace. So here's Jackson Perry, and Jackson, a terrific hitter. He's actually a great first baseman, and he rifles it down the line. Lentine gets on it. And Jackson Perry hit that ball hard. McElvain had no shot. It was a low screamer, right about a half a foot fair. And Tommy Lentine's playing deep. That ball was hit so hard, it rolled all the way out there. So one out base runner. Here's Bo Filkins.
Ben, your way, Ben! Your right hand last time, Jack.
And Bo drives it into the right field. Perry will make it to third. Detzmer fell down, but no damage. Perry was going to make it to third anyway, as Bo Filkins just flipped the line drive in front of him. That brings up Frank Simon. So one out here. Sky high pop of Harrigan under it. And he makes the catch for out number 2.
Let's go, Chris.
And it brings up Rieger now, chance to help his own cause out.
Last time you, Jack.
And there's the swing off of Evans' hands. One run is in. Filkins now is going to try to score, throw to the plate, not in time. And Rieger will go to second.
Stay hot.
So that's a good example there where went off of Evans into short right field. Detzmer kind of was pump faking. And I got to the replay a little late, got caught up in the excitement. 4-0 here. So this is very reminiscent the way Whale has come out hitting the ball. Little ground ball. Harrigan tried to tag him, and nice scoop there by Jake McTeague. He bails Harrigan out. As Jack tried to make the tag, he missed the runner. And Jake McTeague doing what your first baseman is supposed to do. And good hands by Jake. We talked to him a little bit, about him a little bit yesterday. He was out here watching. Jake is a softball geek, so you'll see him at a lot of tournaments, even when his team isn't playing. And young kid really wants to become a good player. He's already got a pretty good idea with a bat in his hand. Hex is leading 7-0, heading to the top of the third over there. And Hex is playing some great ball right now. You know, I've talked quite a few times about the nice job they did with some of the acquisitions, picking up those Sauce kids. And Sauce was a very, I would say, in the upper portion of the A division. And those kids coming and playing on a major team have just settled in nicely. Richie and Kevin Vaselski doing a great job, and they're just playing ball and having a good time. Here's Jake McTeague, made the great scoop. Yeah, they've been throwing up some runs. I see David Smith, who's turning into a fan, has also joined the broadcast. Welcome. So here's McTeague, and he hits a rocket over the second baseman.
No.
And that's a pretty wicked good swing there. Going the other way. A lot of kids don't have that swing. Jake, like I said, is already pretty advanced at a young age. And it brings up the guy that they call the Walrus, Paulie Palkey. With Reese Miles on deck.
There you go.
So leadoff man on here, March trailing by 4. And again, sometimes we talk all the time when you're at a tournament and you're playing a team that's already played a game back to back. You know, you got to get your energy up because the other team is already loosened up and they're already on a high from winning. And Palkey, and that's going to be caught out there in center by Lenti, and he fires it in. It's going to bring up Reese Miles. So sometimes you got to figure out as a coach, how do we, match that energy and get up to speed. Sometimes it takes you 2 or 3 innings, and we're in the 3rd now, and they finally reached their 11th hitter. So a lot of times that second time through the lineup, things start to click a little bit for you. If you don't have a real good routine sometimes, that can be a problem.
There we go, Chris. There we go.
Brian Evans in the top of the order looming here. We always talk about how you need your bottom third of your lineup to chip in, and this would be a nice spot for Reese to help set the table for that top. Well, Amalia, I tried not to pick a winner in this tournament. And there's a little roller, Rieger to Filkins to Pearson, and they spin it right around the horn for an inning-ending double play. And that's how it's done. Rieger knew he had time. It was a one-hopper back to him. And he made sure he gave a great throw there to Filkins, and Filkins knew what to do with it. So, I don't know, I feel bad. I may have put the Maluk on signature last night. You guys didn't see the preview show, but I thought they were going to have a big bounce back this weekend, and they got beat last night by Moneyline in a game that we live streamed. And a couple of people were asking me about the game, and I got to tell you, that money line start to finish, man, they were barreling up on everything. Now I'm hearing through the grapevine they might be missing a couple of key players, including the 2 Ganick brothers, so we'll see how they do tomorrow. So here's Al Person, the first baseman. And there's a foul ball that's way out of play. Let me change the inning. We are in the top of the 4th in a pretty snappy ball game moving along here. So they're in the bottom of the 3rd, still 7-0. Hex leading Menace. So you still got time if you want to get in to that Class A No Glove National Championship tournament. And Al hits a ball toward the gap, but right on the spot, Zach Solario makes the catch. Again, that's not the part of the field you want to try to load up on with that little cross breeze. Trees are blown a little bit more than that flag is indicating. Brings up Jake Lunty. And you can see the Whale team, every single guy basically on their team. There's one guy sitting there, and I think it might be the pitcher, Chris Rieger, who's been working hard all day. But everybody else leaning on that fence.
Hey, be careful now. Be careful now.
And March is, they're still connected. They're all standing up in their dugout as well. So So here's Lenti with one out. That's a little heavy. And Paulie does a good job. He'll mix it up, high, flat. And Lenti, a roller, back to the walrus, and he makes the play. First time I did a March game, and it looks like somebody might have just hit a grand slam down at the other field, but he might have been out at the plate. I can't see the umpire, so that score is going to change. We'll update it once they add it up. And here's Marcus Turner now. And Marcus, a little flare, and that's going to be caught. And that'll end the inning. So we'll head to the bottom of the fourth, halfway through, 4-0 March. So it is 10-0, bottom of the third. Heck's leading. So it looked like the bases were loaded. They must have thrown the hitter out at the plate, otherwise it would have been 11. Yeah, that's sad. I know Al was with Ray and some of Willie Simpson, and those guys were always at the no glove, sitting in that corner, and Al would come out and BS a lot, and it was always fun to hear the old stories about the splinters and 45 team and stuff like that. So it was that is certainly sad news. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. And Godspeed. So here's Brian Evans leading off. So we're in the bottom of the fourth. March has finally cycled to the top of the lineup. On deck will be Tommy Lentine Jr. and then Jordan Dean. And it's going to be tough if you're playing in this event tomorrow. I cannot stress enough. Make sure that you guys have plenty of water and Gatorade. And when you're not playing, get in the shade. You can work on your tan another day. And Evans, a little roller, second baseman, sits on it, and he makes the play. So leadoff man down. So Gabe Irizarry, good form on that. Here's Tommy Lentine. Again, 4 runs and 16 inches.
Hey, gotta start now. Let's go.
Long way to go, and March just kind of, it's like they're looking for a spark here.
Yes!
And Tommy Lentine strokes one, and Michael Crawford thought about throwing to first, and you heard the cascade of no's. And I can't stress that enough. If you're managing a team, running a team, especially with younger players, you have to teach them the value of ball security. Sometimes it does two things. You give your opponent an opportunity to get something going, but you also get them excited when you start throwing the ball around. And when the team is struggling offensively, you don't want to give them a free pass to go to second if a crazy throw gets made. If you throw to the right base, throw through the cutoff guy. Coaches, you'll be amazed at how the amount of runs you give up decreases. So here's Lentine, a little roller up the middle, and they get the fielder's choice. It's a good job there by the shortstop. A little shovel over to the short center, Bo Filkins, but the ball wasn't hit that hard. Jack McLaughlin. And here's Nick Byrne. So Jordan Dean will be running on the swing here. And they are playing Nick Burt very deep. This kid's got big pop. And Jordan will probably easily score on that stretch single.
Good. Keep on. So good.
And Nickel, he tops it, Bo Filkins, with the play. So we're going to head top of the bottom of the fourth and halfway, or top of the fifth, excuse me. And March right now just can't seem to get their offense on track. And I'm not sure what's going on down there, but the one thing I've noticed about Hex is they've continued on during the course of the season. Their guys are really getting into it. So here's the leadoff guy, and Jordan
Attaboy, Gabe! Attaboy, Gabe!
Gets on. So I must have put the Malouk on Jordan Dean after saying a couple of nice things about him. So leadoff man on here. It brings up Barzowski. Oh, this might be a pinch hitter.
Way off you here, Gabe.
We'll try to get you his number here.
It's a 7 for 23.
7 for 23. And as you know it, it's going to curl around. So this is Mike.
Yes.
Pinch hitting here.
You're good here, Gabe. You're good. You're good. Way off you. Got a good secondary here, Gabe. Good secondary. You're good. Way off.
And there's a little soft fly ball. That's trouble. It's going to drop.
Attaboy, Gabe.
So
Hey, for the big guy. For the big guy.
he didn't hit it hard, but he threw it in the right spot. And he's on with a single.
Gabe.
And now they're back to the top with Michael Crawford. Table being set by the bottom two hitters here. And Michael Crawford, he's a pretty big kid. Of course, his dad was about 6'6".
Nobody here, Cavs.
You guys might remember him. He was a part of that flashback team. And they had Randy Russ and Junior and Ralph Lawrence and Gibbs, and that was a powerhouse team. And there's a high, long one toward the gap. No one's getting that. He airmails one into right center. 3-run bomb for Michael Crawford. And he'll touch them all. He leaned on that, got it up in the jet stream, and that ball took off. And he did not miss a stitch on that ball. 3-run bomb for Michael Crawford. 7-0 now, Whale. And again, that ball was shot out of a cannon. He not only barreled up on it, but he also got it up in the air, and that's a bad combination when the wind's blowing out. So here's Jackson Perry, and he goes hard the other way. That's going to be out by the playground. Got a chance to talk a little bit with Jackson Perry. He was giving us the info at the park where he works. And George Bliss actually interviewed him up there a little while back. Jackson, one of the characters in the game for sure.
Good eye, buddy.
So 11-0, bottom of the fourth, Hex. And that ball shot up the middle. Great job by Harrigan.
Goes off. Right here.
But he can't make a play on it. Jackson Perry gets himself an infield single. Still nobody out here for Bo Filkins. And Whale playing with a lot of confidence after beating flashback.
He's creeping on you. Paulie's weird. He might come over. Way off you here, Jack.
Paulkey's starting to flatten out, and that ball's hit toward the alley, and the wind pushed it away from Solario. One run is in, and they're going to hold Filkins at third. So he just pushed it toward the gap, and the wind blew it away from Solario. Detzmer couldn't get there, and he hits a triple and drives in another run. So 8-0 here as Whale has started to open up a little bit. And here's Frank Simon.
Good eye.
Actually, this could be a pinch hitter too. And that's it. No, that is in the long fly ball.
Frank.
So that was Frank Simon,
Frank,
but he drove in a run.
Let's go, two.
Frank does have a lot of pop, but again, hitting it to left,
after 1, 2.
it's not going to go anywhere, and it brings up the pitcher, Chris Rieger.
Oh,
So,
what was that?
like I said, Whale doing a great job, playing with a lot of confidence and exuberance right now. And there's a little soft cut attempt, and Tommy Lentine, good read. I think he forgot the outs. He was going to jog into the dugout.
Come on, 2-4.
But there's only 2 outs here. Brings up Jack McLaughlin, the shortstop. And he's a pretty big kid. We're starting to see some big shortstops in the game now. He's a big kid. Spencer Mahoney's a big kid. I know Jeff Mastari would like to play shortstop, but it's kind of being blocked a little bit by Nate Mercado on the 45s, who's kind of pretty good too.
Good eye, good eye.
And there he grabs a strike.
Again, let's go.
And there's a hard ball past Harrigan.
Right here, right here.
So right now, Whale free swinging a little bit. And they're barreling up on some balls. Brings up the first baseman, Al Person. No relation to Chuck.
1 out, 1 out. No, 2. Just changed. Sorry, it was 1 up there.
So 2 outs here. And he hits it, and Paulie knocks it down. And they get out of the inning, but a big inning, they throw up a fin. And as we head to the bottom of the 5th, it's been all Whale to this point.
Don't spin like that in a while.
So March has got some work to do. We'll see if they were paying attention to how the ball was flying into right center field. That seems to be where you want to try to hit the ball if you've got that swing in your golf bag. So 11-0 down there in the other diamond. Looks like top of the 5th. And if you're playing on the other diamond, on that field it would be a cross breeze or the exact opposite. It would be blowing straight to the left field line on that diamond. So a lot of times if teams think they can play with the wind blowing out, they'd rather do that. Here's Zach Solario. Patty Caputo is over here on the side telling me both teams agreed to move the game down to this diamond. And Zach, I had nightmares of Big Al Person coming over here and thank you. Yeah, he said I could have had it. Then he said my $$. So course, if he would have run to where I was, the ball wasn't going to be there when he got there. So here's Zach Solario. And Zach goes high in the air to center. Lenti is there. So they've hit a lot of balls to dead center field that are just dying out there. And they haven't made the adjustment of trying to pound the ball more toward the gap in the line. That's where it's going to get help. Here's Johnny McElvain. And Johnny hits a humpback in front of Barzowski, and again, he's playing pretty deep out there. He had no shot, little humpback, nice swing there by McElvain. And here's Jack Harrigan. So March needs to string a couple of hits here and try to put up a crooked number, as they say. And Harrigan goes hard, but again, the center field, that ball just isn't gonna go anywhere, especially with that much oxygen under it. And here comes Detzmer now, 2 outs. Did a game out here a while back, and the team that lost that game was doing the same thing. They kept trying to hard pull into a wind, and Rieger knocks it down, and that ball was a nice job there by Rieger. He's made a couple of nice plays up the middle. So Detzmer grounds out. We'll head to the top of the 6th. It's been all Whale, and you got to start thinking about a potential mercy rule game. They're in the 5th down there. It looks like Menace has pushed a couple across. It's 11-2 now. Looks like Jake Lenti will be leading off here. Then it'll be Marcus Turner and Gabe Izzari. So Whale off to a good start in this 2025 SSA Midsummer Classic. And this is one of those days, weekends. And there he goes to right, and Detzmer makes the catch. That ball, you might have heard the comment in the background. Somebody said, way to catch it with your thumbs, because that ball looked like it was trying to squeeze through his 2 hands. But Detzmer held on.
Come on, 9.
So here's Marcus Turner. And there's a hard ground ball. Excuse me. And Jordan Dean got the Sunday hop that time and made the play. So they're going to head to the bottom of the 5th, 11-4. No, they're still hitting the top of the 5th. I think Menace might have put up a 5 spot, make it 11-5. So I think this is a pinch hitter, Pat Clark.
Hey, right at him, Paulie. Let's go.
And the dreaded 1-out walk. So Pat Clark pinch hitting for Gabe. Zari walks. And that'll bring up Eddie Barzowski.
No respect for the trail shoes.
And now they'll re-enter Gabe.
2, Gabe. 3. 2. Way off it, Gabe. As much as you want.
So I think they got the outs wrong on the board.
Grape and Gabe, right here in your
Jake
pocket.
let
Way
off.
off, way off, way
Turner
off.
made an out. And then the 2-out walk. And Paulie hit right in his midsection. And we'll head to the bottom of the 6th, so the game will go 7. Arzowski lines out to the pitcher. And March needs to get rolling. So now they are in the bottom of the 5th.
Let's go.
Again, I always got that pole in the way. But it does look like it's 11-5 down there. So Hex, after jumping up 11-0, Menace trying to put a little scare in it. So Jake McTeague, Paulie Palkey, and Reese Miles, scheduled hitters. We do got a few guys on the bench here, so we'll see if they want to use any pinch hitters or not, including Chris Miller. I did not see Tommy Lentine Sr. I don't know if he's here. Oh, he's coaching. No, that's Miller. I'm trying to look through the massive bodies. So I don't see Tommy Lentine Sr. And Jake McTeague tries to go to right center, but let that ball get a little bit inside on him there. Kind of walked out of the swing, didn't have much behind it. Just popped it up the elevator shaft. So here's Paulie Palkey. Chris Rieger doing a pretty good job. It wasn't for a couple of bobbles by the Whale infield. Flash might not have scored the 5. And now he tries to go down the line, long run. Crawford, now he doesn't handle it, and Paulie Palkey ends up at second. So he walked the dog there, and he gets himself a stand-up double. So 1 out base runner here. You can see Crawford had no chance to get there. Brings up Tommy Lentine Jr. Or excuse me, Reese Miles. So 2 quick strikes. Brian Evans on deck. So March needs a few more hits here. That's illegal. It's not a bad idea. You throw him a couple of short ones, but if you're going to throw it 20 feet in the air, you're really not going to get anybody to chase that pitch. And that was always my thing with pitchers. If you're up 0-2 and you want to waste a pitch, you at least got to make it tempting. And there's a ground ball. Rieger looks him back, and that's how it's done. A lot of times pitchers will just grab and throw. Paulie is not a speed demon, so you don't anticipate him going, but you still got to give him the courtesy look. So 2 outs now for Evans. And Brian likes to work the left side of the field, so when you got this kind of a cross breeze, and climbing the ladder, Jackson Perry. Jackson, a big kid, he got up in the air. A lot of times guys will get one hand. He had 2 big paws up there, and he snags a line drive. Jackson Perry. I always said Jackson, that's like an action figure name. So we're going to head to the 7th. Whale in control, leading by 9.
Don, sorry.
So they're in the top of the 6th, 12-6. Hex. Let's pay some bills. You notice the Sweet Buzz logo that may confuse products. If you're an adult and you use them, check them out. You can talk to Nick Drabel from Moneyline. And here's Michael Crawford leading off. He's out here, short center, number 77. He's a part owner. and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk to you about their products. Please use them responsibly. I'd like to thank Rich Melman and Let Us Entertain You Restaurants. Rich has been with us since day one. Thank you, Rich. And Crawford hits it hard, and Lentine can't make the play. So Michael Crawford hit a bomb into right center. Didn't much care about the wind, hit another bomb. Last minute, Tommy threw his hands up but couldn't make the catch, and here's Jackson. I'd like to thank Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original handcrafted vodka. Please drink responsibly. And Jackson goes to right field. Detzmer's camp. Crawford will get to third on the tag. And I like his thought process there, even though you're up 9. He made sure he advanced the runner and took a shot at maybe getting more. And here's Bo Filkins, easy RBI opportunity.
Go, Bo. Keep that one in.
And Bo slaps it down the line. That will score the 10th run as Michael Crawford comes in. And it brings up the Bambino. I'd also like to thank the Zarnik family. They're underwriting next week's SSA Tom Egg Zarnik Class A No Glove National Championship. And of course, Ray's at Ziegler, Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and that ball's toward the alley, and Solario can't get it. And Frank Simon was just kind of jogging, and now he turns it on, and he gets to third. Of course, he's at Ziegler, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram up in Schaumburg. So I think Ray is trying to maybe get some vehicles out at the tournament next week. So talk to Ray. He's helped a lot of people get into vehicles through the years. And here's Chris Rieger.
Go, Chris.
Chris swings and he hits a bullet up the middle. That'll score run number 11. So it's been all Whale here. And it brings up the big shortstop, Jake McLaughlin. So again, March has been playing pretty good. The fact that Whale would be leading in this game is not really necessarily a surprise, but the score might be. And there's Jordan Dean, and he'll flip it over. So we're going to head to a do-or-die bottom of the 7th. March basically needs a lot of work. They need 11 for the game to continue. 12, they walk it off. Anything less, and Whale will have completed their 2-game sweep tonight. It was Kid and Jackson Perry. They won the toss in the first game against Flash, and I said, first win of the day. And he said, we got 2 more. Well, they lost the toss, so they didn't waste one of their wins on that. So he said they're going to get to 3, counting that first toss. So Chris Miller is going to take a swing. Jordan Dean on deck. He must be hitting for Tommy Lentine Jr. Of course, Chris Miller had a 2-year run where I believe he was the MVP of the SSA Men's 50 and Over National Championship, and with 2 different teams, I think. So Chris has been around the game a long time, always been a real tough out. And a little short flare, and I tell you, it's weird. They've hit a lot of balls to the outfield that Jake Lenti, but he hasn't had to really move right or left. Everything's been hit right at him and up the elevator chute. And he's been flawless out there. So here's Jordan Dean. And Jordan rifles a single into center. You know what, Sonny? Tomorrow's could be problematic. I may try to do a game in the winner's bracket at 10. But the problem is the fact that it's going to be really hot out here and the equipment just always overheats when we try to live stream. So depending on how hot it really is versus what they tell us. And Nick Burt now, he pummels one into right field. Jordan Dean easily into third. We'll certainly try to get a game or two in the afternoon and at night. Certainly try to do that. So we're just going to play it by ear and see how hot it is. We will be on the air at some point tomorrow.
Go, baby, go.
I might do Amalia solid and show Meatball City Circus at 10. So March does break the seal as Zach Solario flips one into right field to make it 11-1. Still only one out here, and here's Johnny McElveen. Johnny had a notion.
Hey, I'm just watching the fucking first base.
And there he just flips it, and Gabe gets a hand on it, can't make the catch. A run will score, 11-2. So Gabe gave it a good ride, tried to one-hand it, just couldn't get there. So it's 11-2 now. First and second, one out here for Jack Harrigan. And Harrigan goes way out of play. And it looks like Junior Villalobos has grabbed the bat. He might be hitting for Ben Detzmer. You like that, Sonny? Yeah, Meatball looked good last night. They beat Iron 7-2. And Harrigan, a little roller. And they turn in time. Nice job. McLaughlin got it to Filkins, a little jumping spin on the double play. And that's how the game ends. So 11-2, Whale all business tonight. They win a pair. And they stay clean. And they'll advance tomorrow. And you can see, nice job by Bo Filkins. So we hope you enjoyed the ball game tonight. We'll see you all tomorrow at some point. Thanks for tuning in. Spread the word. Tell your friends to like and follow the SSA page. It really helps us out. And on behalf of myself, Jerry Brown, who does our podcast shows, George Bliss, Will Russ, and the rest of the SSA crew out here, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Stay safe. Be careful in the heat if you're in Chicago this weekend. We love you. Thanks for tuning in.